in the ATL. That's my homeboy. Watch your back if you're gonna walk alone, boy. Cause everybody in the homeboys trying to get rich. You can get hit even if you're known, boy. We the kings of the South. Pies in the oven, grills in the mouths. Count stacks.
What's up, everybody? I've been wanting to do this video for a while, and I didn't want to until I knew that I had most of the garage set up, but this is going to be a garage or a shop tour here at the Black Cow Racing headquarters. The garage at my house where me and my buddies been working out of for the last few years, where all the stuff that pretty much happens to all the cars that you're going to see on this page happens right here in this garage or in the driveway. Because before, I would always start a project, leave it in the garage, and then I have to be forced to work on everything outside in the driveway. So if it rained, if it was too late, if we didn't have no lights, the bugs are really bad here in the summertime, especially when the sun goes down. Mosquitoes will eat you up. So it just made for, you would get really pissed off, you get aggravated, it'd be hot. So now me and Brian have cleaned everything out. We've reorganized everything in this garage. And now I have AC, I got 2 fans, I got the stereo working. So now I can shut the big door, turn the AC on, turn the music on, and just be productive and be organized, have a place for everything in this garage. It's not done all the way yet because I'm actually about to go buy another toolbox and build a welding table. So the front half of the garage isn't finished yet, but everything else pretty much is finished and it found its home. So check it out, this is shop. All right, so I might as well start right here. This is the big 2-car door that opens up to my driveway. And usually every time this was on, because that'd be the only way to let air flow in and out of the garage. But now that I have AC, now I can just leave this shut. So now starting over here, this is now the service area, I guess. It's where all of the oil, where all the fluids are, where the jack stands are, the drain buckets, ramps, funnels, jumper cables, and my tool cart. So that's why this is pretty much the main work area for anything outside of the garage. Pretty much if you got to work on something outside in the driveway, you can take the jacks, take the jack stands, take the ramps, take the drain buckets, take everything out there, and it's close to the door, so that way it's not all the way at the back of the garage and it's not getting cluttered up too bad. But that was my deal. I got belts, extension cable, extension cords, stuff like that, 4-ways, paper towel rack, filters, oil, antifreeze, windshield washer fluid, and stuff like that. That way it's all accessible, really close to the door, so you're not having to come back into my work area, disturb me, get in my way, because that was a big reason why I made this like an open layout, because I was so tired of having 50,000 people walk by my toolbox or walk when I'm trying to work on something. So, and then here's my service cart. That can get wheeled out to the engine bay next to the car, whatever I'm working on. And it just gets cluttered up with stuff, as you can kind of see here. This toolbox, I'm not keeping it. It's actually almost empty. Actually getting a parts washer to go right here. But for now, it's holding the fan that is in front of the AC. So now the AC is blowing cold air out. And I turn that fan on and it gets super cold in here. And I got another big fan over on the other side. And it just circulates a lot of air. So now you can kind of see, I got shelves pretty much starting from right here all the way around the whole garage. But up here is just gloves and rags, boxes of some new parts, some stuff I haven't opened yet, extra lighting, a shop vac, and the buffers and stuff like that. Then I got my engine lift, a cherry picker, ladder to go ahead and move around all the shelves so I can get on anything on top of the shelves. These shelves is not completely final yet. Everything is going on here because I got a bunch of old manifolds and a bunch of older stuff, but I'm trying to leave as many open shelves as I can for all the new parts that come in for the vehicles that come in here, that I can throw them on there. And then when I get around to them, just pull them off the shelf and put them on. This is currently the shelf for the 71C10. The stuff that's got to go back on here. All the new brakes, new plugs, new wires, new belts, the carburetor distributor. The other rocker panel and the cab corner still got to go on. Just a bunch of miscellaneous stuff pretty much up on the top shelf. Old Camaro parts that have been in here forever. This shelf is all for the 91C 1500. All the brand new polyurethane stuff, the suspension stuff, all the older stuff that I got to kind of restore, I guess, to throw back on. And then just a bunch of heads, a bunch of motor parts, engines, transmissions. Here's the rear end for the blue truck. It's going to be right there for now until I get the leaf spring sandblasted and put back in. So this is pretty much like the main I guess engine kind of shelf, you'd say. Then moving over here, you got my desk. Now this desk functions as a desk and my electrical station. So whenever I'm working on any kind of small electrical projects or any electrical projects, I try to bring them all over here to do them, solder them up on the table and take them out to the car. Or if I'm making like switch panels or gauge clusters or anything like that, I can just do them over here. And then I got all my books and all my part catalogs up here. A bunch of carburetor and carb parts up on the very top shelf. And then this was my ideal for this area right here. Whenever I get a new motor back from the machine shop, I always had parts scattered out on every other shelf. And it made for like a real not organized kind of space because I didn't know what parts went to what motor. So now when the motors come back from the machine shop, whatever motor is directly underneath of this shelf, the parts can go directly above here. So here's the Camaro's motor, here's all the parts for that. Here's the 355. I don't have any new parts for that. That's actually got to go to the machine shop. It's got to get final tore down. There's Derek's motor that he bought. It's a little 350 2-bolt main, but he's got some more parts right there. That's got to go to the machine shop. But actually, he's going with a different motor route, so I don't know what he's going to be doing with that thing. But up top of all that, you got all the engine dress-up stuff. I got some old cams in a box, like valve covers, oil pans, stuff like that. Then here's the motor for the blue truck, the 4.3 V6. That's got to go to the machine shop too. And that's actually probably going to go where his 350 is, and then all the parts will go up above that for it to get all put back together. And that's probably when I tear that motor down, that's probably where all the parts will go. Then on these two shelves, there's all the blue trucks front suspension. Some of it, actually most of it, is getting thrown away. But I just figured I'd put everything up here out of the way because it was laying underneath of the truck when it was in here in the garage. So I just needed a place to put that up out of the way. So once that stuff gets thrown away, those two shelves will be opened up. Then here's my little paint cabinet. It's got to get redone because it's clearly a mess right now. But it is completely full. I did have it organized at one point, but I have to redo that. Then there's a stereo. This cabinet is pretty much full of just miscellaneous stuff right now because I don't know whether or not I'm actually going to keep it. And then this is one of the main work areas. Now, this is my welding station right now until I actually get the welding table built. But for right now, it's doing its purpose. This was the big island workbench that I made. Me and Derek made it, and it's set in the middle of the floor. When I first came up with the idea, because I didn't have any kind of workbenches in here at all, and I wanted a big place to work. I just needed a lot of workspace, a lot of work table space. And me and Brian ended up cutting it down, cut it in half, tore the old workbench that was on the wall. We tore that out and then just put this back up against the wall. This toolbox is all full of all of my air tools, blow off guns and everything like that, and it's right next to the air compressor. So that way all of that stuff is all in one area. This toolbox is full of a bunch of die grinder stuff and stuff for welding, and then there's the welder underneath the table. This is the welding area for right now, but when this all moves, that nut and bolts bin is getting took out, and then this whole pegboard is getting filled with a bunch of nut and bolt little bins, and then that whole wall right there is going to be nothing but nuts and bolts and hardware and everything else you can think of like that. But I really wanted to organize the garage and have a place for everything, a dedicated place for everything. So with that being the welding station for right now, it's not how that normally is going to be, but the air tools and all the air stuff is right there. I want the welding and all of that stuff right in one place. All the engine stuff in one place, my electrical stuff in one place, all the maintenance and the fluid stuff all in one place. But then there is the side door to the garage, and then here is my toolbox. And now I have a TV set up with a security camera outside. So that way I just close the door, lock it, I can turn the music on. If anybody wants to come in, I can see who it is first. So that way if I'm really busy and it ain't that big a person to me and somebody just wanted to come over and talk or be in my way, I just know and I can just leave the door locked. But here is the toolbox. This was a really big upgrade to me, and it meant a lot to me. This is a very big purchase for me. Because my old toolbox, I was completely overflowing, and now, as a matter of fact, I'm overflowing this toolbox, and I got to get another one. But I got all of my battery stuff up here for right now, and once I get my new box, all of this stuff is going to change. This is just how it is for right now. But I got all my drill bits, all my drivers over there in that corner. The charging station for them, I got a little fan. I guess I can go through some of the drawers. I got all the pliers right here, pliers, vice grips. When I make my welding table, that's gonna go ahead and change where all the channel locks and C-clamps are, stuff like that. This is kind of like the engine building drawer, I guess. It's not really organized, it's a big mess, but I got my code scanner, compression tester, timing light, a bunch of stuff like that, all up in there. This side is kind of a mess. I got all the cutters, razor blades, scrapers, knives, stuff like that. This drawer is kind of a miscellaneous drawer. Any little fittings or any kind of little brake hardware, plastic pry bars. This is my main drawer. This is where I usually put all of the loose stuff, my keys and my wallet and stuff like that, because this one locks individually. Then you got my socket drawer. This is going to get redid because this socket drawer and all these socket trays are probably getting thrown out, and I'm probably going to come up with a new system because I have no impact sockets. I don't have no deep well, half-inch drive sockets or anything like that. So when I get my new box, all of that stuff might get changed up and put into that box, or I might redo it in this box. I don't know yet. But yeah, I got my ratchet drawer, screwdriver drawer. I don't actually use screwdrivers a lot anymore ever since I got the Milwaukee stuff. File, a punch, and a putty knife drawer. This was my torch drawer because before I had no oxyacetylene torches. I just had to use that to try to heat up whatever I could use. And this is wrench drawer number 1. And this is wrench drawer number 2. This is a lot of bigger wrenches that I got, my big metric stuff. And this is the hammer and the pry bar drawer. And then in the very bottom is just a catch-all for a bunch of extra parts now and a bunch of little tool holders. But there is the toolbox tour. Alrighty, so right to the left of my toolbox, this is where everything is going to change. This is the same kind of workbench shelf that was back where my welding table is, my welding station now next to the compressor. It's screwed to the wall. That was built in here when the garage got changed to a 4-car garage. This is going to come out for a Husky 61-inch worktop bench. It's pretty much like my bottom box except for a wood top and a pegboard on the back of that. That's going right here. And then my dad is coming to get his work table and his toolbox out, and then that's where I'm going to build the welding table. I'm going to have my drill press on a stand, my bench grinder on a stand right in between there, and a chop saw, so that way all the welding stuff is all right there. Welding, drilling, cutting is all up there towards the front. So that way it's as far as away as where all the engine building and the electrical stuff and all that stuff is, and it's out towards the open, towards the door. So then that's going to change all of this right here for now, but for right now this is pretty much what I got to work with. Overflow of the battery operated stuff, and a pegboard, just pretty much random stuff, C-clamps, hose clamps, stuff like that. And then all of this stuff is going to get changed. My dad hopefully is going to come get this stuff pretty soon. This cabinet's got a bunch of the detailing stuff in it because, I mean, we don't really do that much detailing anyways, because let's face it, all my cars are pretty much rusty anyways, so I don't have a lot of stuff to detail. But I built this a long time ago. That's going to get taken down too because another little cabinet's going to be right there, and the detailing stuff is going to go in that cabinet. This cabinet is going to be a bunch of more welding stuff, my extra helmet, a bunch of wire, gloves, masks, stuff like that. And then here's another air hose reel. This one comes in really handy, and I think I'm actually about to go get 2 more because I have air ran pretty much throughout my shop. So I got an air line coming over here from the compressor. And then I have this big hose reel right here. This is a 100-foot one. That little one up by the front door is only a 50-foot. But then I have another one running over to where my toolbox used to be. But now is the electrical desk. But it's nice to have air over there in case I ever needed it, blow anything off. But this is pretty much the garage. This is where all of the work gets done. Oh yeah, and don't mind that truck. There's about to be an introduction video to that truck right there. But this is it. This is my workshop. So that's it. That's the garage in its form right now, even though I know it's about to get changed, and the front half up there is getting ready to get removed, and my dad's going to come get his stuff, and then I'm going to try to build a welding table, and I'm probably going to make a video of that too. I actually really like welding now. Before, when I didn't know how to do it that good, and I got a little crappy little flux core welder, but I finally got the hang of it now, so I'm trying to do a lot more welding and save up for a better welder, because I want a better MIG and I want a TIG, I want a plasma cutter, and just have so many projects and so many extra tools and so much stuff I have to buy that the money for that seems to get put on the back burner. But I'm making this one work for now. But I like welding, I like fabricating, just some custom stuff. So that's why I really want to make just a dedicated welding area, a bigger one to where I can make bigger stuff, because I have a car that I bought that is top secret that is actually going to be coming in this garage once I get all these projects done. And the body's coming off of that, and it has it's pretty much a tube chassis car, and I got to do some minor tweaks and stuff on that and add some stuff onto that, and that's going to be my drag car. But I cannot wait to get that thing in here, and then I'm going to do a bunch of fabrication stuff on that. But that's why I wanted the garage set up like how I did, so that way everywhere had a dedicated area, a dedicated spot. Because before it was just a big mess. There was little areas where stuff went all the time, but I was really bad about working out here so long where I get so tired I forget what time it is. I got my phone plugged in, and I would just leave the tools down and head in and go to sleep. And then next day I wake up, I would just do it all over again, and the garage just kept being piled up and piled up and piled up. So now hopefully everything has its own spot, so it's not that hard to just go ahead and here, I'll hang this back up, or here, put the tools back in the toolbox. So I'm hoping that this is going to make me a lot more productive, because I have a lot of cars that I got to turn out. I got a lot of stuff sitting in the driveway, let alone like 3 other cars that's at guys' houses that I've not even got to yet. But you're going to be seeing a lot of videos inside of this garage and at the dedicated workstations. So just keep checking it out, and there'll be more videos up soon. Later.